Absolutely.
How much of a luxury is that, though, coming back with you've lost a guy that's going to get drafted, but you've got him. I mean, the experience he's gotten
it's really been good. It's really been good this spring. Nick has some really good strengths in the pass game and what he does in the pass game, and he's really tremendous at perimeter blocking. But what we've asked him to do a lot this spring are his weaknesses, and because what we're trying to do is make him improve those weaknesses. And I've tried to put him in every tough situation I can, because there's no perfect player. There's always something everyone can do to get a little bit better. And so this spring's been very challenging for him, and challenging for a reason, because we're trying to continue to put him in position to improve his weaknesses. And what were those weaknesses? Those two are really really nice where they complemented each other. Where Jeff was really good in the run game and interior blocking and those sort of things, and Nick was a little better on exterior blocking and stuff. So we really have tried to make sure that we're getting Nick's weaknesses become his strengths. And so he's been challenged this spring really hard. But that's okay. We don't play for a long time.
He had some big catches last year. I mean,
he had some really great catches last year.
And what does that do from a confidence standpoint for him carrying into this year? But also, I wanted to ask a double question there. Is he a pretty good route runner? I mean, how would you describe him as a receiver?
He understands seams. He understands, we kind of have a little deal where man or zone, and he understands how to handle both. And he is pretty good at coverage reading. And part of, a lot of it is where are you getting leverage, where's the coverage, and where I got to be based on the coverage. And he does a pretty good job understanding all that.
Obviously, a couple new coaches in the offensive meeting rooms this time around. How has the dynamic maybe changed there? How have those guys sort of fit into the
I think it's been awesome. There's always the challenges of bringing them up to a speed. One thing when you walk in 3 years ago or 4 years ago now, however you want to count it, when you walk in right in the door, right, everybody's kind of on that page one, where now you have some coaches that are on page one, they're kind of page 300. So you got to do all step back, and you all got to go through that process together. And as coaches, we're working every day to continue this. It's not the lack of intelligence or whatever. It's just those little finite details. And the one beauty about Coach Meyer, which he's phenomenal at, is the detail in which he demands from his coaches and his players. And it's those little details. It's not the big picture stuff, because everybody coaches. There's a lot of similarities across the country in big picture, but our detail and our attention to detail, I think, is really special. And that's the part that you're trying to bring any new coach that comes in the door, whether it would be me or Coach Warner this time, it would be the same way, trying to bring those little details up to speed. It's very important.
Is there an osmosis that goes on, too, from the other side? I mean, have you already noticed them introducing a few new thoughts? I'm talking about Tony and Tim.
They look at it from a little different perspective. Yeah. They're going to bring their own background in. And it's always a very fine line about introducing maybe a new background, but making sure we keep the very base fundamentals and what this offense was built on, and that foundation this offense was built on. But you can never sleep on the game. You have to work the game, and you have to work the game, and you can't sleep on it. So you're always trying to expand your mind. You're always trying to, is there a better way? Is there a better way? So there's always a lot of great discussions in the staff room this time of year.
You're in there, and I don't know what kind of answer you can give me, but what is different with Ed sort of like being at the front of the table as opposed to Tom, I guess, the last 3 years? So what's different about the dynamic in the room?
Well, it's always going to be a little bit different. You change personalities, people, there's going to be some differences. What hasn't changed is the fundamentals of this offense, the base foundation of this offense, and the structure of this offense. And we're all putting those pieces back together. And I think when you come off a championship year, right? Everybody says you're going to start off where you left. You don't. You go right back to fundamental one and page one of that playbook, and you work your way through it meticulously, developing it. And that means it's Coach Warner as a coordinator, management of staff, new guys in the room. All of it goes back and you redo it, because you can't miss a step. It's like that child, they got to learn to roll over, then it's got to learn to sit up, then it's got to learn to crawl, and then eventually learn to walk. And that's kind of that whole procedure. It's the same way when you come back off that championship year. You got to go back and do it all again. Don't miss a step, because in the long run, you really forgot part of the foundation that got you where you want to go. And so we're not missing a step. I'll guarantee you, there's a lot of discussion going on. There's a lot of work going on about all the little details, tremendous finite details that we're working on right now.
Thanks, Tim.
Yep.